All right, guys, so we are now on 3.5, writing equation in HK form. So it says, in order to write an equation in HK form, okay, HK form, which is going to be your vertex form, or if it's a cubic, then that's going to be inflection point. If it's a line, then that's going to be your points of form. You need to know three things. First, identify the parent function. Is it a line, a V shape, which we call the absolute value, a quadratic, or a cubic? Then next, we want to identify the HK form. Now we want to identify the A value, which is the front number, okay, the leading coefficient. That's it. If you know those three things, you can write an equation in HK form. Now let's roll up. When you look at a graph, how do you know what the parent function is? Okay, so let's start with what it should be like. So guys, if you have a line, whoops, sorry about that. Hold on, my pen's not working. Let me see, make sure. Okay, here we go. So first, if you have a line, come on, pen. If you have a line, then this is a line, okay? Then your parent function is going to be y equals 2x. Next, if we have a V shape, which we call this the absolute value function, then your parent function, guys, is going to be y equals absolute value of x. Next, if you guys have a quadratic, that means it's a U shape up or down. This is what we call a quadratic. Then the parent function is going to be y equals x squared. And the last one we studied so far is going to be your cubic function, like a snake, okay? This is your cubic function. Then your parent function, y'all, is going to be y equals x to the third. These are all the parent equations. When looking at a graph, how do you know which point is the HK? Okay, very important to identify the HK. So in a line, your HK is going to be the point. Okay, so HK is a point. Any point, you pick a point, and that's going to be your HK. In well, next one, let's go in order, just like the other one. In your absolute value, absolute value function, your HK will be your vertex. Okay, so vertex is your H comma K. Now in your quadratic, it's also your vertex. Okay, also your vertex, which is your HK. Now the last one that we have studied is going to be your cubic. And guys, your HK is going to be your inflection point. So inflection point is the HK. So they all have a meaningful and important role for every function. How do you figure out what the A value is? Okay, so to figure that out, we have to, in a line, we need to find another point, and then we have to solve for the A value. Okay, so find another point that has not been used, okay, and plug it in and solve for A value. Okay, let's try a couple of these guys. here is our first example. Examples 1 to 4 said write an equation HK form for each of the graph below. Number 1 said hint, your HK form from a linear is the same as point form, where the HK is the point and A is the same as M. And remember guys, A is the same as M, so that means A is the slope. Okay, so A is the same as M, that means it's the same as slope. So first, what we want to do is figure out what your HK is, your point, which is going to be your HK. Pick any point you want, okay? As long as it's a nice point. When I say a nice point, guys, it's in the corner of 4 boxes, okay? So that's a nice point. This is a nice point. This is a nice point. This is a nice point. Now, what is not a nice point is this one. So if I were to pick this one, okay, that's not a nice point. That's not in the middle of 4 boxes. If I were to go and pick, let's say this one, that's not a nice point. That's not in the middle of 4 boxes. When I say 4 boxes, I mean this. Somewhere in the middle will be a nice point, right? So the blue ones are not nice point. We don't want those. Now, nice points are any point you want at all. So this will be a nice point. This would be your nice point. Yes, this is a nice point. So those red dots are nice points. So I'm going to go and pick something simple. Let's go with this one. And no, you don't have to use what I'm using. So this dot is going to be -5 for x. And let's see what the y value is. 1, 2, 3. So +3 for y. So your point is going to be -5, 3. So that is your point. Now, second, we would need a slope, okay? Need A, or that's the same thing as your slope. For this particular case, you can easily count, okay? So to go from one nice point to the other, we're going to go down 2 units and then to the right 1, okay? So when you go down, that's going to be a negative. So your slope is going to be rise over run. So that's going to happen to be as -2 over 1, which is -2. So currently, our slope is going to be m equals, which is the same as a, -2. Now, I'm going to show you another way to get your a value if you don't want to count. So your point slope form, guys, is y minus y1 equals the slope times x minus x1. Now, if we want to look at this as your HK form, this is going to be y minus k equals a times x minus h, okay? Now, if you wanted to, you could also add the k to the right side, and it would look more like this, a times x minus h plus k. Any one of those is going to be fine. I will accept all correct format. So let's plug in what h and k are. We know that h is going to be -5, k is 3, and your slope is going to be -2. So that's going to go, okay, y equals a, which is your slope, which is -2x minus, I'm going to leave a blank space, plus k, h is a blank space. Well, we know that h and k are -5, and then k is 3. 2 negatives will make it a positive. So your final answer is going to be y equals -2 times x plus 5, and then plus 3. This is going to be your HK form for your line, okay? So now if you don't want to move the k to the other side, then you can use this form right here, guys. It's going to say y minus k, because k is 3, so y minus 3 equals -2 times x plus 5, and this is also okay to have. So our example 2, as you guys can see here, is a V-shaped, right? So we know it is an absolute value. Again, we're going to go through the steps. So step number 1, what we would like to do, guys, is to find your HK. Okay, find your h comma k. In this case, is going to be your vertex, okay? So your vertex is right here, and that is going to be 1 comma, let's see. Nope, my pen's not working. Give me 1 second, guys. Come on, pen. Okay. 1 comma 1 2 3 4 -4. Okay, so that's your vertex. So for us, h comma k is going to be 1 comma -4. Now keep in mind that your absolute value is going to be y equals a times the absolute value x minus h, close it, plus k. Now step number 2 is going to be counting the slope. So we can count that easily. Remember, we want to pick a nice location to count, right? So let's go pick a nice point. A nice point would be, remember, in the middle of 4 boxes, okay? So like this is a nice point, this is a nice point. So we are going to start from the vertex. So we're going to go up 2 units. So that's positive 2 and run 1. So that's 2 over 1. So your slope, guys, is going to be 2 over 1, which is going to be 2. Now over here, we know it opens up, okay? That means A is positive. So that means A is positive because in the absolute value, if you guys remember, we have a slope of positive and -2, but we have to pick positive 2 because it opens up. So your slope is going to be positive 2. So now let's put it together. Y equals A times absolute value of x minus h, close it, plus k. Your A is going to be a 2. It's an opening up absolute value. X minus your h is going to be h is going to be 1. So that's going to be x minus 1. Okay, so it's going to go minus 1. Don't forget to close it. Your k is -4. So that's going to say -4. And close that up.